We all probably remember the first time we watched the eclipse in '97 anime adaptation or just experiencing it while reading manga. When I was watching the eclipse for the first time, I felt many emotions like fear of what's about to happen to our protagonists. I already got used to the thought of Griffith being broken beyond repair. But knowing Miura and him putting a dark spin on every aspect of his story, we kinda knew that things were going to get complicated. Although while feeling despair by those events, I was always fascinated how Griffith was reduced to almost nothing, a scarred consciousness being locked up in a broken and crippled shell. And then he's been given a chance to become one of the most powerful beings in the physical and astral world. Big kudos to Miura for beautifully portraying the story of a very powerful man, then a man being at absolutely lowest to finally become a godlike figure. Just before the eclipse, Griffith seeing that he's no longer a priority to Guts and Casca as they developed feelings for each other, and seeing how fragile his body has become, he tries to take his own life. Before doing that, he has visions of his younger self. Then he tries one more time to chase his dream, reminding himself his own principles. Despite being drastically damaged, he still tries to stay loyal towards his dream, as he's unable to hold the caravan, which results in more critical injuries. At that time, he's at his lowest, laughing at himself, seeing that he's not able to achieve anything with his broken body, and attempts to take his life. He couldn't stand the thought of being a victim and not being able to fight for his dream. At that point, it was well established that the dream to rule his own kingdom was his main drive. But he came to realize it's all over, nothing matters to him anymore. Griffith had many psychopathic traits. He never really cared about people's lives. He killed thousands and lost thousands of men during the 100 Years' War. During the eclipse, the God Hand needed very little deception and prod for him to sacrifice the rest of his men in exchange for a new body and becoming a demon king. This meant that he would be once again able to walk, speak, and fight. More importantly, he could once again hurt and take revenge on Guts. And the most important is that he would be given one more chance to chase his dream. So there was never really much of a doubt of what choice he was going to make, considering that all of his life achievements, the inflated ego, and the downfall, it all might have been manufactured by the God Hand. Since we know that the biggest urge for power is when you're at your lowest, hence the Behelit finding its way to his owner just the second he attempted suicide. Since we all know what choice Griffith made at the eclipse, but what fate would await Griffith if he wouldn't make the sacrifice? Well, most probably a similar fate to what the Count has faced. On the other hand, the Count was already a demon. He already made a sacrifice before. That's why he was consumed by the huge vortex of evil. The soul that is connected to the demon kind is condemned for hell. Guts and Casca, bearing marks of sacrifice, are probably condemned as well. If Griffith would choose the moral path, if he would decide to spare his comrades who worshipped him and came to his rescue, if they would be magically let go by the God Hand and they could just go home, then Casca and Guts would take care of him as they planned before the eclipse. Casca already made the decision that she cannot go with Guts because someone needs to take care of Griffith, and Guts was going to support her. He also cared for Griffith as a friend, but it would be a pathetic existence for Griffith to be constantly nursed. Griffith already critiqued such way of living while having a conversation with Princess Charlotte. He said that he could never exist just for the sake of living. So he could never accept to be unable to take care of himself, to be unable to constantly move forward. He was never going to say no at the eclipse. In Griffith's mind, if he would have to go as far as rationalize his choice, his actions, He probably would point out that his men already sacrificed their lives while joining his army. Him having a narcissistic traits, he would tell that he has endured too much physical pain to stop now. He could tell that he basically sacrificed his own body, his life. Just imagine being tortured for a year, 365 days, 52 weeks just being kept in cold, empty cell with no light. And your only visitor is the one that's slowly taking your dream away from you, bit by bit. There was just no other way for him to live than accepting Godhand's offer. I've spoken about the second chance regarding Griffith's dream, which he managed to achieve after the resurrection. But Miura has also teased a second chance for him with Guts and Casca. Griffith sharing a body with Moonlight Child, could it sway him towards becoming something good? The Moonchild's need is to be close to his parents. He is getting the parental love by night, which could get him closer and maybe affect Griffith's consciousness and plans for Guts and Casca, as we already seen him questioning his actions, wondering if the vessel's body, i.e. Moonlight Boy, is affecting him. As for today, we still don't know why Griffith kidnapped Casca in chapter 365, but this might be the proof of Moonlight Boy affecting him. If Mori and his team have plans for Griffith, that he would from now on do only good things, maybe this could be some sort of a second chance for him? Who knows, maybe Griffith actually will start missing some sort of relations with Guts and Casca. But then, I wouldn't expect all three of the main characters to have a happy ending for the sake of the story. Since Griffith was reborn, we have seen him doing couple of good deeds, like saving Casca from the boulder avalanche during Guts and Zod's fight, sparing Rickard after he slapped him, or stopping Zod from fighting Guts, and knowing Zod's thirst for fighting, it must have been a very painful order to obey. In this video I never wanted to say that Griffith did nothing wrong or anything like that. He has done plenty and he will never be able to redeem himself. I just wanted to analyze if he could refuse the Godhand's offer. And I honestly doubt that. Griffith lost too much to even have much of a choice. I don't think anyone could refuse the second chance. But this is Berserk. The story never goes in an obvious direction. Even now, him being a king of demons, causing so much evil, and yet he still has an idea of a perfect world which he wants to create. That's a peaceful utopia, where he takes a good care of his subjects.